Picture this. You're 8 years old, your teacher calls you brilliant, your parents brag about you at parties, everyone says you're destined for greatness. Fast forward 20 years, you're sitting alone on a Friday night scrolling your phone, you have no close friends, your last relationship ended months ago, you feel completely empty inside, and you can't figure out what the hell went wrong. This was supposed to be your time. You were the gifted one. So why does life feel like you're watching it through a window while everyone else gets to actually live it? If this sounds familiar, you're not broken, you're not lazy, you're not a failure. You're the victim of something I call the smart kid curse. Let's go back to the beginning. When you're a kid, your identity is simple. You might be the funny one, or the athlete, or the kid who loves dinosaurs. But some kids get a different label, a more dangerous one. You're so smart. Those 3 words seem harmless. They feel amazing when you first hear them. But they set off a chain reaction that can ruin your entire life. When adults call you smart, they're usually not praising your hard work. They're praising your effortless success. They love that you got an A without studying. They're impressed that you understood the math problem instantly. The message becomes crystal clear. Smart people don't have to work hard. If you're truly intelligent, everything should come easily. And that belief will quietly destroy everything good in your life. When you're young, being smart feels incredible. Teachers treat you special, parents show you off. Other kids look up to you. You get praise, attention, and respect without breaking a sweat. Life is basically set to easy mode. You don't study like other kids. You don't struggle like other kids. You don't fail like other kids. But here's the trap that nobody sees coming. You start believing that struggle means you're not actually smart. If everyone keeps telling you that smart people find things easy, what happens when something gets hard? When you fail a test? When you don't understand something right away? Your brain doesn't think, oh, this is challenging. Your brain thinks, oh shit, maybe I'm not actually smart. Suddenly, difficulty isn't a normal part of learning. It's a threat to your entire identity. And that's when the avoidance begins. Instead of pushing through hard things, you start avoiding them completely. You don't raise your hand unless you're 100% sure of the answer. You don't try new sports because you might not excel immediately. You quit piano lessons when they get challenging. You avoid art class because your drawings don't look perfect. Each time you avoid something difficult, you tell yourself you're being smart. But here's what's really happening. Your world is shrinking. While other kids are out there failing, messing up, trying again, and actually growing, you're hiding in an increasingly small comfort zone. They're building what psychologists call frustration tolerance, the ability to keep going when things suck. They're learning that failure doesn't kill you. They're developing thick skin and resilience. You're building the opposite. You're becoming more and more fragile. While other kids were learning that failure is normal and survivable, you were learning that failure means you're a fraud. Every year, your comfort zone gets smaller. Every year, you become more afraid to try new things. Every year, the walls of your prison get a little bit higher. You think you're being strategic. Really, you're becoming a prisoner of your own potential. Real friendships don't happen when everything is perfect. They happen in the messy moments when people struggle together, when they mess up together, when they're vulnerable together. But you've been carefully avoiding all of those moments your entire life. So how do you try to connect with people? You use your brain. You try to impress them with how smart you are. You analyze their behavior like you're studying for a test. You turn every conversation into a performance where you need to say the right thing. It's like trying to hug someone while wearing a suit of armor. Sure, you're protected from getting hurt, but nobody can actually get close to you. And here's the cruel irony. The smarter you are, the better you get at this fake connection. You can read people well. You know what they want to hear. You can be charming and witty and seem confident, but inside you're dying because you know it's all an act. You know they don't really know you. How could they? You've never let them see the real you. The one who struggles, who doubts, who doesn't have all the answers. So you end up surrounded by people who like the performance version of you, while the real you sits alone inside your head. Every conversation becomes exhausting because you're not just talking, you're calculating. You're thinking 3 steps ahead. You're trying to manage how smart you sound. Socializing stops being fun and starts being work. Really hard work. Meanwhile, you're trying to solve an emotional problem with intellectual tools. You feel lonely, so you analyze why. You make lists of your social failures. You research conversation techniques. You study body language like it's a foreign language. You apply logic to feelings, strategy to spontaneity, analysis to intimacy. And none of it works. In fact, it makes everything worse. Because connection isn't a puzzle to solve. It's not a problem that needs fixing. Connection happens when you stop thinking so damn much and just let yourself be human with another human. But that's the one thing you've been trained never to do. When the loneliness becomes unbearable, when you can't ignore it anymore, your ego builds one final wall. You tell yourself, I'm just different from other people. I'm too smart for them. They're all shallow and boring. I'm looking for deeper connections. This isn't confidence talking. This is terror wearing a tuxedo. You're not above other people, you're afraid of being with them. You convince yourself that you don't need friends because you're above needing friends. You tell yourself you're happy alone because you're too evolved for petty social games. And the worst part of you knows this is complete bullshit. Part of you knows you're lying to yourself to avoid admitting the truth. You're scared, you're lonely, and you have no idea how to connect. But admitting that means admitting you've been wrong about everything. It means admitting you're just as flawed and needy as everyone else. Eventually something breaks. Maybe it's a relationship that ends because you could never let your guard down. Maybe it's a job opportunity you didn't take because it required risking failure. Maybe it's just another Friday night alone, realizing that all your intelligence hasn't bought you a single person who actually knows who you are. You start to realize that the very thing that made you feel special as a kid has become the thing that's keeping you trapped as an adult. You've spent so much energy protecting your image as the smart one that you forgot to actually live your life. So how do you escape this trap? How do you break free from the prison you've built around yourself? It starts with the scariest thing you'll ever do. Stop being the smart kid. I don't mean become stupid. I mean stop making your intelligence your entire personality. Stop needing to be the person with all the answers. Your worth doesn't come from being the smartest person in the room. It comes from being a complete human being. Humans are allowed to not know things. They're allowed to be confused. They're allowed to be wrong. Go find something you're terrible at and do it anyway. Take a dance class where you'll look ridiculous. Try cooking and burn dinner. Learn a language and butcher the pronunciation. Join a sport where you'll be the worst player. Be bad at things in public. Let people see you struggle and mess up and try again. This feels like dying at first because you've been hiding your struggles your whole life. But here's what nobody told you. People don't connect with your perfection. They connect with your humanity. When you let people see you mess up, you give them permission to be imperfect too. And that's where real friendship begins, in the shared experience of being beautifully, messily human. Stop waiting until you're good at something to try it. Stop waiting until you have the perfect thing to say. Just show up, be awkward, say the wrong thing sometimes, ask dumb questions. The goal isn't to be impressive. The goal is to be present. The goal is to be real. Join the club even if you don't know anyone. Go to the party even if you feel out of place. Start telling people how you actually feel instead of what you think they want to hear. Say, I don't know when you don't know. Say, I'm nervous when you're nervous. This is harder than any math problem you've ever solved, but it's also more important. Embrace awkward silences. Let conversations be messy. Stop trying to control every interaction. You've been managing your image for so long that you forgot what it feels like to just exist without a script. You don't need to be special to belong. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be willing to be yourself, your real, flawed, uncertain, beautifully human self. The smartest thing you can do is stop trying to be the smartest. Intelligence is a tool, not an identity. It's something you have, not something you are. When you make it your whole personality, you turn your greatest strength into your biggest weakness. Think about the people you actually enjoy being around. They're not the ones constantly trying to prove how smart they are. They're the ones who make you feel comfortable, the ones who laugh at themselves, the ones who admit when they don't know something, the ones who let you see their flaws. That's who you can be too. Right now, there are people out there who would love to know the real you, not the performance version, not the always has the right answer version, the messy, uncertain, still figuring it out version, but they can't love what they can't see, and you can't feel connected to people who only know your mask. So here's your invitation. Come down from your pedestal. Stop watching life from the sidelines like an observer studying a fascinating experiment. Join the rest of us messy humans down here in the real world. We mess up constantly. We don't always have the right answers. Sometimes we do embarrassing things and laugh about them later. We get hurt and heal and get hurt again. We're figuring it out as we go, just like you. And that feeling you've been searching for your whole life, that sense of belonging, that feeling of being truly known and accepted for who you really are, it's not waiting for you at the top of some intelligence mountain. It's right here in the middle of all this beautiful, chaotic, imperfect human mess. The door has always been open. You just have to be brave enough to walk through it. I won't lie to you. This is scary as hell. Letting go of the identity that's protected you for so long feels like jumping off a cliff. But here's what's waiting for you on the other side. Real friendships where you don't have to perform. Conversations where you can just be present instead of calculating your next brilliant response. The relief of not having to be on all the time. The joy of connecting with someone not because you impressed them, but because you let them see you. You'll discover that you're actually more interesting as a flawed human than you ever were as a perfect, smart kid. You'll find that people like you better when you're real than when you're right. And most importantly, you'll finally get to find out who you are when you're not busy being who you think you should be. That person, the real you, has been waiting patiently behind all those walls you built. They're ready to come out and play. The smartest thing you can do is stop trying to be the smartest person in the room.